Hello, beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 448, which is quite an interesting milestone, I think, and I'll talk more about it in a second. But for now, I'll just show you this beautiful view of Rosnola Lower, small beach that is very quiet and hidden a little bit behind the main Rosnola. We are at the moment, we came from behind that corner, I would say, or peninsula. There is just behind it is Rosnola Upper, and this is Rosnola Lower. Julian and Elizabeth are in front of me. We are about to finish the first part of the walk, and now we will likely to go out and continue walking alongside the normal road, because as you can see the tide is coming, so we won't be able to go back comfortably because less and less beach is available, or the sand, and in fact very slippery stones along the way. And here is my beautiful face. Yeah, so lovely morning, and I would say it's noon already, probably. Yeah, it's exactly noon, 12 o'clock. We decided to go out because Elizabeth checked the weather, and it seems like we'll be getting a lot of rain, most likely, for the remainder of the day, and only nice dry weather was expected to be in the morning up to, I think, 1 p.m. So we decided to use that opportunity. As you can see there, those clouds are bringing a lot of drizzle and rain. They are probably coming our way, so we still have some time to complete the loop and get back to the car. So let us do that, and I'll tell you more about today's milestones, specifically two important milestones. One I already mentioned yesterday, and I think I also said something about the second one yesterday, albeit I wasn't expecting it to happen that fast. And welcome back. So I was able to do two small segments in a row. It was kind of one segment, but I decided to film the beach separately and then my beautiful face. But jokes aside, the weather was nice as expected to about half a day. The moment we left Rosnola, it started really being gloomy, and drizzle came, rain, and it's not windy, which is kind of surprising because there was a warning for most of the island about the storm, I don't remember the name. I think it's Fergus or Fergo or whatever. But this storm is now battering, supposedly, most of Ireland, especially the middle, I would say, part, which is from the west coast, Clare, Galway, Mayo, and then Cavan, I think Kildare, and a couple of other counties. So we don't experience it. It's fairly quiet, except for that gloomy and dark clouds that are passing over us. So just to make it quick and not keep you for too long, two main milestones that I wanted to mention and give credit to, because I was really looking especially towards one. The other kind of happened naturally. So the one that I mentioned yesterday is the 700th plays on the podcast, on Spotify specifically. So it's not across all the podcasts, it's only Spotify. I have no visibility on other podcasts. For some reason, Apple is supposed to track the plays, and I see no stats. So either nobody plays it on Apple, or there's something wrong. And I don't think that Apple doesn't track it, because there are some plays coming into the stats, into the Spotify analytics, but Spotify, for some reason, I don't know if it counts them or not. It's quite confusing. But anyway, 700 plays on, I would say, let's assume Spotify / Apple and whatever mainly or primary audio platforms are. So I'm not counting YouTube or anything else. It's a nice milestone. You can probably say, oh, 700 plays? Jesus Christ, most of the people with the, I would say, average podcast have 700 plays per day or a week, and it took you bloody, I don't know, 448 days. So yes, it did. But again, I wasn't aiming for it. The podcast itself is not an interesting topic, I guess. The journaling is not something super entertaining, so I guess it's more difficult to get people engaged and drawn to the podcast. But I have stable listeners base, it seems, because there are definitely consecutive and consistent listens every single day, which is good to see. It wasn't at the beginning, it just came up probably 100 or 150 episodes ago that there are consistent listens, so that probably accounts for that 700 even showing up. So that's the first milestone. 700 is nice, but the better milestone is the one that I mentioned about the YouTube subscribers list. And I was aiming, if you listened before or read my blog posts, I was aiming for 500 subscribers by the end of the year. And I was probably well on my way, assuming that I will keep growing the channel, and I didn't have great history of doing it, so I had kind of bursts of activity to grow the channel, and then I was stopping for a while and for a longer while, and then I was growing it again for a moment, and then again a long stop. So while initially it was nice, then it obviously dropped for the rest of year. But I started growing YouTube channel, or started uploading to YouTube channel in March, and that was end of March, probably about 20th or 21st of March, where I started dropping like 2 or 3 shorts with quotes, so YouTube shorts under 60 seconds with quotes and nice views that I was filming myself. So I wasn't using anybody else's footage or anything like that. I was just using my own videos. which makes it easier and in future prevents YouTube from, let's say, demonetizing or blocking your channel if they found some copyright claims or anything like that. And it was going well. I was pretty happy with the growth. Then I had a very long break. Then I dropped a couple of videos here and there, but there was no consistency in that. And recently I decided to do, whenever I can, to drop the at least single short. Will it be one with quotes or some funny thing that I like to watch and it made me laugh? I will add as a separate playlist. So you can see on the channel there is a playlist with funny videos, which is basically where I drop things that made me laugh. And I was able to grow it steadily. There were single days when I didn't drop any video, but most of the time I did one solid and funny, in my opinion, video, or recently put even a quote or something like that. Overnight I hit 500 subscribers, which is amazing to see, especially that we are at the moment it's 10th of December. So I still have about 3 weeks to push harder and beyond 500. So I reached that milestone that I was expecting to hit by end of year on 10th of December, which is great. It's about 501 or 502 subscribers. And that is uplifting. Obviously, some subscribers come and go. It's not super stable all the time, but these are fractional, like 1 or 2 subscribers that go away and then somebody else comes in along the way. So it balances itself out. I know that 500 will stay and will grow. It's not like Instagram. Instagram can pull a little bit more back and then not grow for a long time, but YouTube seems to be very, very consistent, and I'm really happy to announce that I have reached half of required subscriber base for potential and future channel monetization. Why do I care about monetization? I'd like to kind of touch on that because I don't want ever to produce something like journal or anything like that for the sake of earning money. That's out of questions. That was never on the plate and will never be. But I've built the YouTube channel because I know that it can be monetized without asking people for anything. So basically, ad revenue, some affiliates stuff, etc. And also I try to do some stuff on Instagram side to make it easier and I would say budget friendly for everyday life. And if I'll reach that point where YouTube will start giving me back anything from the ad revenue or anything like that, that will only solidify this podcast and grow it. Because while money doesn't give us happiness, that's for sure. Yeah, we can buy some stuff and then be happy for a moment. At least we think we are happy because that's that kick of dopamine that comes with the purchases sometimes. That was very dangerous. Somebody just got in front of another car. So while money itself doesn't give you happiness, I might be repeating some cliche or whatever, but it certainly makes life slightly easier, or it removes certain unhappiness or worries from life. Of course, money also brings worries. It's not like it's a magic wand or anything like that. It's not that it's only positives that come with money. It depends obviously on the volume and how much money we're talking about. But there's always, like everything in the universe, there's always upsides and downsides. The fact that money doesn't bring happiness is a fact. It's not happiness. And I know it firsthand because I remember times when I was earning the bare minimum wage in Ireland, and I would say maybe not 10x, but a lot of x above it now. And while it was making life slightly more pleasant in the beginning, when the wages were going up, I think that was more of a placebo than the actual happiness. It was perception that, oh, I'm growing and I'm getting or earning more money, and I can buy more stuff or allow myself to go for something like a better vacation or things like that. But it only blurred the vision of what my life should be and aligned me more with some people call it rat race or the mainstream approach, and really made my own life a bit foggy. So I thought that this is what it should be, so I felt a bit better. But over time, when you start thinking about stuff, your values, your priorities, and how far you've come, yes, you are satisfied with the growth and your wages going up, but then you realize that your life did not gain as much as you thought it did. So the more you earn in a normal job, I mean, not in your own business, the more tax you pay, and at some stage you don't actually feel any improvement at all. So the more you earn, there is a threshold which, when you cross, each and every next wage increase changes zero in your life. You think it does because obviously numbers are different. You in theory can do a lot more, but if you look at the amount of taxation around you, not only your wages, but whatever you sell, like the capital gains tax or whatever you do is taxed, and taxed at the ridiculous rates. And that explains why, even though you earn a lot more, you earn just a little bit more, because most of it is being taken. Like in Ireland, you can easily see 45 to 50% tax and more on what you earn. So you're earning literally pretty much half of what you work for, which is crazy if you think about it. I understand why this movement of, new entrepreneurs and business owners or people doing stuff and earning money online boomed so much, because young people are not only impatient, but they are impatient for a reason. They were grown by parents like probably myself and older people that were still in the system and trusted the system so much I don't think they trust it now, or at least some of them don't trust the system. But these kids and teenagers grow up being barely attended, probably given a lot of stuff faster and quicker because parents were so stressed out by the jobs and earning money. So they not only kill their asses to get that money out and make sure that the kids have what they need or want, but also whenever they didn't have time, they wanted to make sure that they don't need to deal with the problem, so they just gave kids money or whatever thing they wanted, or sent them to whichever place they wanted to make sure that they can focus on the job while the kids give them, peace of mind. And that lack of attention in kids not only breaks the actual bond between parents and children as they grow, but also causes impatience and a lot of hidden traumas that we only learn now in psychology about. So yeah, we have impatient generations more and more. They are able to make 10 or 100x of money without lifting a finger in comparison to their parents. So we see the gap in understanding and empathy growing between generations. And then we have a lot of manipulation, AI algorithms that are making this gap even bigger because they push away older generation that don't understand technology and what is happening behind the scenes, away from the kids that either understand it or are being manipulated towards new era of whatever is coming. So it sounds a little bit like a tinfoil hat or, conspiracy theory, but there's no conspiracy behind it. We know it's trade without any investigation. It's almost done straight into our faces. Nobody denies it. It just is what it is. If you don't know what it is all about, it's about money. And the world is in a weird place at the moment. So we need to look up into what we're doing, what our children are doing, and what our families are doing, especially, and friends. But it's very hard to keep balance in such a chaotic world where everything seems to be trying to milk you of your energy, money, mental health, physical health, just to get the product sold en masse and for whatever it takes. And it's kind of sad, but I believe that there are plenty of smart people out there. Many of you are there, and I'm sure that people that listen to me are of the bunch that are very much aware of what is happening and don't need that to be explained. Maybe if I say something that you're not aware of, but you kind of know but don't specifically focus on that, I might kind of raise your eyebrows and remind you about something. But I'm pretty sure that most of it, what I'm saying, I'm not saying anything new. It's just about bringing back awareness from time to time because we are too focused on other stuff. So yes, 500 subscribers and growing, 700 listens and growing. If you listen to podcasts or you have friends that listen to podcasts, if you can share my podcast with them, I would really appreciate it. Of course, don't share it without reason. I mean, don't share it to people that don't like podcasts or don't like journals or would find it boring. Just share it to people that might actually enjoy it like you do. And for that moment, it is it. I won't be recording anything else today. I'm at the gas station. I want to get last coffee today before Christmas, because I'm going into detox for next week to see how my body reacts to a lack of coffee and a very minimum amount of sugar, which is probably only honey that I will be allowing myself to use for slightly sweetening the mint and green tea, but nothing else. No sweets per se, no chocolates or anything like that. I want to see how long I will survive. It might be just one day or two. The aim is 1 week, and if I'm comfortable enough to keep going until Christmas, if I'm comfortable enough to the end of year, but let's stick to the week and see how it goes. This is kind of preparation before a longer detox that I might do in 2024 of a month, and maybe even steer away from many of those things, especially sugars, not because some influencers or industry people, doctors or any gurus say that, but because I find that every time I eat more sugar for a period of time, I feel worse. So there are a couple of ripple effects of eating sugar too much, and I feel it. So it's enough proof for me to try and steer away from it a little bit, because I really have sweet tooth and it's very hard for me to get rid of sugary stuff. For now, that's it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of the day, evening or afternoon, wherever you are, because as you can see, mine is not the best. It's actually raining at the moment. I'm going to get some groceries, make a dinner, stitch those episodes together and upload it. The rest in the blog post. Thanks a lot and see you tomorrow.